Hello and welcome. You're here with Brothers Forge Gaming here on YouTube. This is Bloodstained. Now, I have played through this game extensively. If you guys just tuned in for the speed run, I do appreciate that. I wasn't miking up, I was trying to concentrate. I did, I didn't do as good as I was hoping I would do, and unfortunately, it's late. I was hoping to get it done a little earlier. I don't know. I'm going to blame it on that. But real quick, what we're going to do, we're going to take a look. So once you beat the game, you unlock, well, I should say, I think when you truly beat the game, you unlock some of these different modes. The first time you get bad ending, you do unlock boss rush mode, and you do get speedrun mode again when you beat it. Actually, with the true ending, I have beaten it on the harder settings, hard and nightmare, and I didn't seem to unlock anything else. There's also some boss medals you get if you perfect the bosses. So we're going to go over that stuff if you guys want. I'm going to go over my build for the speed run and kind of talk about some of the different modes and whatnot in the game. So if you guys have not had a chance to play Bloodstained, if you're not looking for spoilers and tips and whatnot, maybe just skip around and whatnot. But I am going to cover some items and go over some of the harder trophies to get. The platinum wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be, but it was time consuming. You did need to put in that extra bit of effort to get there. I'm sure there's some guides that make it a little bit easier, but a lot of the stuff you're going to get from just playing through the game and trying to beat it on the different settings and those different things, you're going to get a lot of the stuff you need to do it, and so you can pretty much go from there and then just kind of fill in the pieces. That's what I did. So yeah, we're going to check that out. As I mentioned, if you want to go watch the speedrun, I haven't checked the time on that yet. I want to say I did it in 40 minutes. We're just going to go with that. I don't know if it saved itself on something else, so I could see that. No, I don't think so. So I think this is the last one it saved on here, so we're going to load that. And I want to say this is my good build here. Like I said, thanks for tuning in. I was on silent, so I didn't do any, communication. So if you guys have any comments on that, leave them in the video's comment section. And then feel free to. I have the chat up now, so if you guys have any questions while we're doing this, we're gonna go over that. In case any of you haven't seen the completed map, on this run I didn't do the 100%. I did get lost a few times. This was the run I did on Nightmare, I want to say. And unfortunately, so we'll go over that later, but I did a 100% complete run, and then I got anxious to get the platinum, so I kind of jumped ahead and ended up having to cost myself to do another 100% map run, well, 99% map run. But if you want, we can zoom in on these sections. I think the only thing I noticed when you got all the boss medals is it started to show you where all the chests were. They were showing up. I don't know if maybe that's a progression of the game that they show up more if you beat it on each setting or whatnot. Maybe when you find them all, don't know. But there's the first area. Some of this stuff will help you out. I don't know if you're stuck. Maybe you can look at this. I'm sure there's tons of diagrams on these on the internet if you're looking for that. So we won't spend too much time here. So there was some tricky spots. When I first beat the game, I didn't know that you had to get the Zanpakuto or Zangetsu's blade. I like to call it the Zanpakuto, big Soul Blade fan. So here we go. Here's just some more of the map. Bleach, Soul Society, all that good stuff. Great anime if you haven't seen it. It does drag toward the end, but it was great for the first few seasons. I actually enjoyed the live action movie as well, and there was a couple Bleach movies that were good. I did, for whatever reason, kind of lose interest in this series over time. I think it got a little bit too much for my taste. Anyhow, oh man, I hate that. So circle is usually go back on PlayStation games, but it's a marker on this map. So anyway, it causes yourself a lot of map marking. But it is cool, and I'm used to playing old school games where you get like one marker, and then you have a huge map, and you can lay like one of these markers at a time. So you kind of have to, or two or so. So there's a ton of backtracking in the game, and it's nice to be able to leave as many of those markers as you want. I haven't run into a limit. So I did mark a few things. Okay, so if you can see here, if you're looking for the Aegis armor, it's the one that lets you walk on terrain that's like spikes and stuff. Once you get invert, you go here, and I marked that because I forgot where it was on one of my runs. So that was kind of irritating to have to like look through the whole game again for that armor. And I marked, this is probably something random that I accidentally clicked on. And this is where the barber is. That I thought at one point I wasn't sure where to go in the game. I thought maybe I had to go talk to the barber, so I had to look through the whole darned game for him. I forgot where he was. So anyway, marked those things. So I'll show these real quick. So I had a couple different builds. Unfortunately, I wish when you did beat the game that it let you keep your builds, but it does. When you do a new game plus, it takes some of your stuff, so it messes up your builds. So you kind of have to redo them as you get the proper gems. But as you can take a look here, I've messed around with the different speed stuff. You get items that accelerate your speed and make you move faster, and I really didn't notice a difference. Like once you get accelerator, which is really cool, it makes you go fast. You juice that all up. I mean, nothing seemed to make you go faster than that. So I don't know if any of that stuff stacks. Maybe you're just going so fast that you don't even notice it. So I tried to set this one up with craftwork and some of the different ones, but like I said, it pulls it away. But basically, I made some of the strongest weapons in the game. This one I tried to just build for speed, and realistically, I probably should have just had one build and just adjusted that as you go with that. But like I said, I was messing around with some of the different items that maybe they make you go faster. I don't know exactly. This was my main build here for boss fights. Typically in games like this, even if you can use firearms, I like to use swords. I like that fantasy genre, RPG, medieval times, that kind of thing, where I just enjoy that. But going for the boss medals, I recommend if you take a look at this build right here, directed shield. So we'll just click on that. Once you do all the, I think it might be the last one. Once you do all the recipe quests, that you get that recycle hat, which is killer because it doesn't cost ammunition. For some reason that's not working. Huh. So, I did notice some bugs with those as well. So this shield works really good. So if you're trying to perfect bosses, there's nothing I haven't seen this shield block. So I was using that and then the ranged. I mean, you can't really beat that. I was trying it on hard to get the medals. It's a lot easier on normal. The bosses don't seem as hard. So and I haven't noticed a difference either in whether or not you get a different medal or whatnot. I'm pretty sure it's all the same. So if you're going for that, okay. So let's take a quick look at that. And when we're gonna go over the items and some of the different stuff, I'll show you that. I won't do a complete breakdown of everything. If you guys are interested in seeing all the different in detail, I can do a separate itemized thing of that if you want to take a look. Like I said, leave a note in the comments and I will do that when I can. But as you can see here, you get these different medals for perfecting the bosses, and I don't know what they do. I've kind of looked online. I haven't seen too much information on that. So who knows? Maybe they give you a buff. I can't tell. It shows your total bonus. One thing too I didn't notice about the food, I thought it was, a lot of games where you eat food, you only get a temporary buff. This one is a one-time buff, but it's a permanent buff. So you only get it the once for the first time eating it, but after that, it's a permanent buff. So basically, make sure to cook as many recipes as you can. As you can see there, I don't know if that's the max buffs you can get right there through food and items and whatnot as a total bonus, but there's that stat if you want to see it. That's with cooking every recipe that I found in the game and completing all the quests. So one cool feature about this game too is that you get, this is very extensive. So like I said, I have done all the quests, but I didn't do them on this run, and unfortunately it kind of resets that each run. It would be cool to do that, to see all those hundreds. I didn't really mess with the techniques too much. There is a trophy for mastering one technique, and that was enough for me. In these games, I kind of just like to smash and grab. I don't know, I'm sure there's a ton of different ways to play it, but I just want to hack and slash. To me, it's more, I don't know, I enjoy it a little more that way. I don't want to have to think and do different things and push buttons. I used to do that stuff, but so anyhow, here's a look at all the list of all of the demons and their shards. The The ones that don't have shards, like you have familiars and different ones, it can tell you which shard is in there, where they spawn. That is super helpful when you're going through the game. And I wasn't sure. I didn't know for getting the 100% items if you had to, because as you can see there, the certain enemies drop certain items. I went and killed all the enemies till I figured out all the items they drop. So I don't know if that's necessary, but I did do that as just kind of a way to figure out, hey, is this what I have to do? So I was just doing it. Okay, so this guy, I might, I don't know, I don't know if I'll show it, but if you guys want to see something cool and you're looking to get this trophy, or you just want to see something fun, this enemy is actually really hard. So if you better be prepared to fight this enemy. Go on the train. In one of the box cars, you can sit, you can interact with the seat, and it's a totally cool scene. But this enemy is tough. Okay, so this was, for me, this was the hardest enemy to find on the list. This one and the next one I'm going to show you, that they were practically hidden enemies within the game. So I'm sure there's forums and stuff you can look up more information on that. So I'm not going to go too far into that. I know this game is very popular, and so a lot of people covering it. So okay, so we have giant. So this one is kind of like, I was tricking me for a while, but you can't get a shard from this guy. So it pops up there. So if you see that, you're not missing it. It's just one of those things that they don't, they're just like the blobs. They don't really drop much. And then there's also, oh yeah, this one. It's really cool. There's a secret above the, let me show you real quick. There's a secret above in the tower where you go to face Jeebs. There is a secret right above, like the save area right here, I want to say, if you see it here. So this would be like the teleport in the save area. This is where you go to fight that Jeeble guy. And right here, this is where it's really cool. It's like a throwback. If you guys haven't had a chance to play Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon, it's the game that came out before this, kind of like a, thanks to the fans for being patient for the game. It's an excellent game. It's more of like your traditional Castlevania game that you get on the NES. Great game. Also have a playthrough of that if you want to go check that out. But in that, it's really fun. You go and so these ones are basically hidden enemies. But yeah, you go back and it takes you back to this 8-bit, and you get these cool. You can summon these interesting 8-bit characters if you're into that kind of thing. And then also, to get completion on all the demons, you do need to find all the keys. I couldn't figure it out. One of them is a Celeste key. You open a room. It looks like a tribute room to someone's cat. Maybe the cat passed. I'm not sure. Pretty cool room. That's the Celeste key. I couldn't figure out anything in that room that was necessary for the trophy. So I was, kind of confused by that. So anybody confused by that, it didn't seem to have any bearing on the trophy. But to complete that, you do need to get, and this guy's like the original Castlevania guy, pretty weak. This guy was tough. But yeah, to complete this list, you do need to get those keys that are hidden through the game. They're not like super hidden, but you do need to look for them. They're in chests. I mean, they're not like hidden behind a wall or anything. So I thought that was pretty cool. Some of these old games trying to do like Symphony of the Night complete, like 200% map, like I don't know. I'm not even gonna try that. That would take so much time, and I mean, maybe it's easier than I think, but for me, it seemed like too much of a time commitment to want to do it. And then, okay, so I've read some different information on this online. What you need to do is you have to have 99% complete map, and you have to have a save file with a clear game. So basically, you need to beat the game once, and then after you do that, you need to get at least 99% of the map completed, and then go talk to this guy, the OD in the library, the librarian, and he has one last book you can check out, and then you'll see it too on your way to the end boss. There looks like a boss room with no boss in it, and you're like, what's going on here? So that was kind of the clue. I was confused by that room as well in the beginning, and so anyway, to get this, like I said, you need to have cleared the game, and then also check out that last book that he won't give you unless you have 99% map completion. And this boss fight is tough. If you want to try, like I said, use that build, shield and gun. That was how I did it. It just, some of it's random, it seems like, so that sometimes they go into their ballistic mechanic right out the gate, and you're probably not going to get have a good attempt at getting that metal on that one. But sometimes they'll kind of just tweak out, like especially if you're using accelerate, they'll kind of just like tweak out, and you can charge them and then blast them with the gun, and then retreat, and it kind of sets them on a different path. That was what I found was kind of like the best way to get, especially the faster enemies that had a lot of attacks. You just kind of bum rush them and then run away, run and roll. So yeah, check that out. So if you guys are looking to get the platinum, if you have any questions, let me know. I should be able to cover most of that. But like I said, most of the stuff you're going to want on the platinum trophies, you're going to get from playing the game. Those were the two hardest things that I had found. As far as the map completion goes, there was only a few rooms that were like actually kind of hidden. That you had to find. Not a lot. I was expecting a lot more, but I mean, there was maybe a handful. You know, that they're not even like super hidden. And once you get the detective eye, it shows you kind of within a radius where the hidden stuff is. So it makes it a lot easier. And you can get those off of. They're like these eyeballs, and they're in the, I want to say, the underwater, forbidden underwater place. I don't know exactly where they are on here. I think it's, no. That guy's really helpful too, but anyhow, they're somewhere on here. You'll see them. They're out there. Don't want to spend too much time trying to find them. I can't remember their name. But anyway, they're an eyeball, and they drop detective eye. Oh yeah, seeker. Okay, so it's not a super high drop rate either. You can get items that make the shards drop better. So kind of what I didn't know about that. So I should have done all the quests and then gotten that item. I think it's like a warlock's ring or Solemn's ring or one of those rings that you get from the quest in the town with the guy that farms. And then there's that other like nun lady in there. Towards the end, you'll get those better items. That guy's very helpful. Like I said, if anybody needs me to go over these complete items lists of what it is that is required for that trophy, you know, here's just a quick breakdown. I won't do all the weapons. There's a lot of those. And then one thing on the weapons as well, there's ones you can make with... Oh, I don't believe these medals are part of the trophy either. They're just cool to get because, you know, you're perfecting the boss. But for the items, or sorry, for the weapons, you can make special weapons that require the 8-bit, 32-bit, 16-bit coins. I think, so when you look at it, the three levels of it have the same name. So basically, I think you just need to construct the first one with the 8-bit coin, and then after that, it's just you're powering up the weapon. But there are a lot of weapons. So real quick, if you know, I'll just scroll through this if this is helpful. You can pause and go back on it, whatever it is you need to do to see those real quick. I'm sure there's complete lists online. And whatnot. So, and then some of these are some of the ones the special weapons you make with the 8-bit coins. And like I said, you really only use the one with that. I was thinking you had to get the 16-bit, the 32-bit, and then the 8-bit nightmares, the final stage of upgrading these weapons. But that was unnecessary for the trophy, as far as to my understanding goes. So, you know, real quick, there's all those. There aren't. I like this Santa hat. And then one thing that was stumping me on the helmets is you need to buy these circulates from the item shop, and then you can make some of these other ones. And it wasn't even showing up. Some of the stuff wasn't even showing up to craft until you'd crafted the thing before it. So if you're stuck trying to get these, just craft everything. You know, there's some interesting thing here. The gunslinger's hat is cool. You end up unlocking the recycle hat, which is just, I mean, it's not like super powerful, but you can use diamond bullets unlimited, and I mean, jeez, that's pretty cool. So I liked this one, had the best stats. I felt like it looked the coolest. This was pretty nice too, and that one as well. But the demon horns was the most powerful. So if you're feeling like a demon, you can go ahead with that. But like I said, using the gun and that recycle hat was like the way to go. And then same thing with the armor. You almost had to craft this, you know, kind of just craft them down in a row as you can. And sometimes if they're not showing up, you forgot to craft like the iron breastplate to craft the steel breastplates and so forth and whatnot. So as you go down, just craft it. You know, do it in succession, and that should be pretty straightforward. Not too many of these were hidden. I think the one I missed the first time through the game was this voice changer, and I don't exactly remember where it was. I think it might have been in the Forbidden. I don't think it tells you. No, that would be cool if it told you where it was. I think it was in the Forbidden Underwater Way. I can't be 100% on that, so don't quote me, but like I said, you could probably look that information up pretty easily online. Yeah, and so here's just some of the different rings. Yeah, that's the one, Solomon's Ring. I think that's the last item you get off the quest procs, and then the scarves. Not too many choices. And then, here's all the shards. We'll go over those real quick. Accelerator is excellent. Now that's something I want to talk about as well. Okay, so you do unlock a speedrun mode in the game, but it makes you start completely over. So what I've done is I have taken New Game Plus and turned that into a speedrun. So I'm not sure what the official standings on that are, what people are doing in the communities. I'm sure there's people doing both. Officially, if you're looking to set records and stuff, I'm sure you probably have to do it the speedrun mode through the game. But I put a lot of time into completing this game, powering up all this different stuff, and that accelerator makes it a lot more fun to run through the game. So I mean, that's kind of why I did it that way. At some point, maybe I'll try to do the speed run through the games mode, but like I said, creating my own version of a speed run was a lot more fun for me than doing the mode that's in the game, because you get to keep most of your items. Most of your items carry over most of your power ups, so it just makes it a lot more interesting for me, a lot less time investment. So and then there's just all this cool stuff in the game once you unlock all that that way. So yeah, I think that's pretty much gonna cover it. If you guys, like I said, if you want to see anything else in full detail, let me know. I can break down any list, any of that stuff that you might want to see with that. As far as it goes, this is an excellent game, and it's got a great price point too. I think you can get it probably for like $30 now. At some places, maybe a little less. It's totally worth it. As far as I know, there's supposed to be some DLC coming out as well. To my understanding, it's going to be free. So there still is value to come from this game, multiplayer, stuff like that. So, oh, and that is one thing too. If you do decide to go on Nightmare, it does set you to level 1. It's not super hard, but you do only have like 1,000 hit points or something like that, or almost. I think I almost had 1,100. But stuff hits hard. There's a ton more mobs, and yeah, it wasn't like impossibly hard though. You think Nightmare, like, oh man, like you think like Doom, like the hardest setting of Doom is almost impossible, at least for me. But it wasn't bad. My tune was pretty juiced up, so I'm sure doing it on Nightmare with nothing, starting a game fresh on Nightmare is probably nearly impossible, but sign me out for that one. You can have fun with that. I'm not a masochist, I guess it would be, or what is it, a sadist? I don't know. Either one. But yeah, so that's a look at that. Like I said, there's a look at my build for that. Real quick, I found that the flame mail it gave you the most attack power, so that's kind of what I tried to do with that. The silver power ring powers up as you kill enemies, so that's kind of cool. As again, I found that to be the most powerful stat booster there. I used, what helped me in the beginning of the game was Welcome Company. It basically creates a shield around you, so you power that up and you get like nine of the paintings around you, and it was very OP. So I just kind of rolled with that. I haven't even really experimented too much with the different ones, but the ones I did try were kind of hit and miss. So Accelerator was awesome, and then Optimizer. I kind of found like overall that was the best of the gold gems that you can use. You can get one for your specific weapon that also is strong, but I felt like this was the strongest one, at least for boosting stats. So I went with this just to check that out. So. But yeah, there's a look at that. Oh, one other thing too, if you are trying to do a speedrun or playing the games, clearing the games on the harder settings, when you fight he's the like gold robot-looking boss, the guy that sucks up the gold, and he's maybe one of the last bosses he's in. Once you go into the moon, you cut the moon, and you go into that level, he's like the first or second boss you face in there. Anyway, if you go fight him with I think I fought him with over 600,000 gold, and I just could not beat him. So basically go spend all your gold before you fight that guy on the harder settings if you're trying to do new game, any of that. take a look at that. So as far as I know, I think that's going to cover it for what I wanted to talk about. Like I said, if you guys want to go watch that speed run, it shows you the direct path. I screwed up a couple places, not too big. I may try and redo it. I had some trouble at the beginning and kind of in the middle. It's hard once you have double jump. If you guys are familiar with that, once you have double jump in these games and then they kind of take it away, it takes a minute to adjust back to it. Um, but yeah, like I said, if you guys have any questions about the game and you want to know, let me know in the comments. If you're stuck, the speed run that I did was pretty fast, so you could probably watch that and hopefully get where you're going. I had trouble in the beginning because I wasn't aware you had to have the right equipment to cut the moon when you fight Jeebs at the like in the middle of the game. Because I immediately, it was like, I got there fast, probably within like 5 or 6 hours. Killed that guy in the game. It was like game over. It was like, oh man, okay, well, that's weird. And then I kind of just wandered around until I found some of the different stuff. Played the game aimlessly for hours, and kind of figured it out from there. But there is more to the game after that. You do need to get the Zangetsu blade to truly make it to the end of the game, and then you do need to cut that red moon. I was maybe gonna do a video on that. We'll see. But I don't know, there's a ton of coverage on that, so but yeah, if you guys are stuck, go watch that video. It does have some really good information as far as getting through the game, and it's quick, so you don't have to watch hours of streaming of someone trying to find it. So it's a pretty quick run. Go check it out. Like I said, drop us a comment, let us know your thoughts, your experience on this game. What did you think of this game? When I was streaming, I heard a lot of people ask me, what did you think? Is it the next Symphony of the Night? Is it better? They were comparing it to Symphony of the Night, of course. And what I said to that was, you almost can't compare anything to that game. There aren't too many perfect games out there. And Symphony of the Night is one of those games. Whether or not you could say this compares to that in that sense, I would say no. But it is a very excellent game, and is in terms of like playability and fun and excitement and challenge and different things. Yes, you can compare it to it in that sense. But it's almost impossible. It was created at a different time and in a different place, a different era. So it would almost be impossible to recreate something like Symphony of the Night to compare to it, unless you could go back in time. And I don't know. But anyway, this is an excellent game. Make sure you pick it up. Go check out our streams if you want. I'm probably going to be taking the streams down except for the speed run and this one. Maybe leave up the first play, but I'll probably be taking those down over the next couple days. So if you want to go watch me suck it up at the game, go check those out while you can. And yeah, like I said, check out the speed run. Gonna be doing some more streaming. Got a platinum trophy guide coming. This wasn't necessarily like a platinum trophy guide, but some information is in there to help you guys if you are stuck trying to get the platinum. I may leave that in the notes in case anybody's looking for that. But yeah, check us out, Brothers Forge Gaming, here on YouTube. Holding it down, beating games, getting trophies. I think I'm about 5 trophies away from 3,000 trophies, which was a goal of mine to hit this year. Gonna do that before the end of our 3rd year here on YouTube. So that's pretty cool. Got another platinum waiting to go, so I'm just waiting to stream that. It's text the name of that game, Riddled Corpses. It's a twin stick shooter, totally cool game. So guys, look forward to that. And yeah, I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for tuning in to the first streams and whatnot. And we do gonna have some more early content coming out. Have the new Contra game pre-ordered. I've got the new RPG Maker pre-ordered. Those are coming out in I want to say early and late September, so make sure to look for those unboxings and those first plays. And then later on, I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100%, I'm waiting for the next information to come out on the Jedi game. I can't tell at this point. It looks like it's going to end up maybe being a quest rinse repeat open world kind of game, which are great, but there's huge time sinks. And I was thinking about I actually have it pre-ordered, but we'll see what goes on with that. I'm kind of hoping it was more maybe like a linear kind of like a Dark Souls, linear open world. You've got a direct path that you're trying to do, but you're not bogged down with thousands of side missions and stuff. And that for me, that's hard to do because you want to just do all those. It's almost impossible to progress the game because every step you take you're getting a side quest. And for me, that's tough. So, but yeah, like I said, thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure to check out Brothers Forge Gaming on YouTube. We got lots of good vids. We'll see you next time.